Welcome back, fuckers. On today's video, we're going to run through the JSOW on pre-planned and target of opportunity mode, how to set it up, how to configure it, and we're going to do a live drop of the JSOW on some targets. So let's crack into it and get this party started. All right, so first thing we're going to run through is the keybinds that you're going to need, and let's get that one happening right now. So keybinds is pretty much the exact same as the JDAM. All right, we're going to need weapon release. That's about it, okay, to actually drop the bomb. And then the rest of the stuff, binds that you need, will be we covered in the entering waypoints video. So if you don't know how to put waypoints in, check out the video in the series on how to enter waypoints. And you also need to know how to use the targeting pod, so we can use the targeting pod to designate a target on the ground for target of opportunity mode. All right, so that's it. Weapon release button is what you're going to use to pickle the JSOW off of the aircraft. Let's bring up the weapon loading screen and let's get this one happening. So on stations 8, 7, 3, and 2, you can carry. So on the inboard and outboard pylons of the Hornet, we can carry the JSOW. So it is called an air-to-ground missile. You know, it's not really a missile. It's not a missile, but it is a glide bomb. It's in the air-to-ground missile category. So we've got two of them here. So AGM-154 Alpha JSOW CEB, right, CBU type. So that one there is going to drop cluster bombs onto the area and do like a shotgun pattern on the ground. And then you've got the AGM-154 Charlie. It's a JSOW, which is a penetrator JSOW, which if you want to take out a bunker, you're going to use, or a hardened target, you're going to use the JSOW Charlie. AGM-154 Charlie is what you're going to do. So we're going to load up. Let's take on the inboards here. So we're just going to take 2, so we're not super heavy. So these are heavy. You didn't realize you can double rack them. You used to be able to double rack them. Yeah, there you go. You can double rack them if you would like, but you're going to be super heavy. So generally you're just going to be taking 1 per pylon, and we'll just load up the rest of our aircraft as we would for a combat load. Take the outboards, can be clean, no pylons on at all. And we'll put our AIM-9s on. AIM-9s, there we go. A bit more chaff because we're going to be taking on some ground defenses. Right, let's get that one happening.
Request rearming.
And load up the aircraft.
Copy.
All right, so once we've got the aircraft loaded, we'll have a quick look at the JSOW, what it looks like, and then we'll get into setting things up
Complete.
for pre-plan and target of opportunity mode. So this is very, very much the exact same as the JDAM. If you can use a JDAM, you can use the JSOW. Right, they're very much the same. It's a GPS guided bomb. The difference between a JDAM and a JSOW is the JDAM is going to have less range because it doesn't glide. The JSOW you're going to be able to launch from, again, it's altitude and speed dependent, but if you are super high and going super fast, you're going to be able to launch this thing from ages away onto a target, and it will cruise on in and take it out.
Complete.
So you're going to have a lot more standoff capabilities with the JSOW. The trade-off with the JSOW is the JSOW can actually get shot down by SAM. So SA-15s, SA-10s, I think, can do it as well. A few of their SAM sites can actually lock on and shoot your JSOW down while it's cruising in because it's slow enough, all right? They'll actually see it. So if you're coming up against an SA-15, for example, JSOW isn't going to work unless you're shooting a shitload at them because it's just going to shoot them down and protect itself. But that's the trade-off. JDAM, the SAMs can't lock onto a bomb and shoot it out of the air with a missile. Right, the JSOW, because it's flying slower, they can actually lock onto it with their radar and shoot a missile at it to destroy it before it gets to the target. All right, so we are loaded up. Let's have a look at our stores page here. We've got JSC for our penetrator, all right, and JSOW A is our CBU type. Okay, which kind of doesn't make sense. If it was me doing this thing, JSOW, the AGM-54C would be the CBU type, because C for CBU, but that's not how it is. All right, but when in doubt, you can confirm in the missile, in the loadout, it gives you a description there. So that Alpha is the CBU, the C Charlie is the the penetrator. So that is that. So we're just going to go ahead and put those on timer. All right, and we're going to use our cluster bomb in a second. We're going to set that up for a pre-planned strike. So let's quickly jump out of the jet here and have a look at JSOW. So there we go. That is what it looks like. You can't really tell the difference between the two. So that's our JSOW. Don't know which one is which. And if we go to back to the camera here, can't really see it. Let's go back here. There we go. All right, so they look pretty much identical. You can't tell which one is which you've got loaded to the jet, so you need to make sure you select the right one off of the stores page here. So our penetrator is on our left hand. Okay, so that's the Charlie type, and then our CPU type is on the right hand inboard station. But they look identical. All right, so we are going to set up on our cluster bomb variant. Okay, the AGM 154 Alpha. We're going to put this in pre-plan mode. Okay, so eFuse, we're going to put it on instant, and then we're going to go to the JSOW display, and we want, just go back here. It's on our right hand, so it'll be station 2, 3, station number 4 is what we want. Quantity. All right, or station 7, sorry. Station 7. Am I tripping balls? Yeah, all right, 7. Retarded. Station 7, that's what we want. All right, which is that guy right there. 7 and 8 is on the right-hand wing. 3 and 4 on the left-hand wing. Been flying the MiG-21 a little bit too much. Fucking confusing pylons. All right, so we've selected that. We're going to go back to return. Release type. We're just going to leave it on manual. All right, and then pre-plan. We are set up. So now we're going to go into the mission page, and we're going to set it up exactly the same as we did with the JDAM in the previous video. So we're going to go to target UFC. We're going to hit position, and we're going to punch in the coordinates, which I got off the mission editor. All right, so we're going to, it's in lat long precise is the mode that you're going to enter this in. North 421046. Enter, and then 16, enter, and then we're going to hit longitude. We want east 4258, enter, 990, enter. We confirm there. I fucked that up. East 0, so we're going to do that again. East 4228, 58. Enter, and then 90. So always confirm your coordinates, and then we're going to go back to, so to get out of the lat long, you just hit the target UFC button again, and then we're going to go elevation in feet, 149 feet. So it's really important you get the right altitude as well, because if you put in the wrong altitude, or you don't put an altitude in at all, if the target is on a mountain, it's going to assume that ground level is where you want the bomb to go, and it's not going to go too well. It's not going to hit where you want it to. So altitude is very important when you're doing GPS guided bombs. In our headings, or our terminal things, we've got height of function. So at 1500 feet, that's how high it's going to be when it explodes and shoots out its cluster munition. So that should be fine there. We're going to leave that at default, but if you want to change that, you can change that to whatever feet you would like. Okay, so if you're too high, the spread pattern is going to be too far apart. We're just going to leave it on default, 1500, but you can change the heading you want it to come in from. All right, and you can change the height that it actually deploys the cluster bombs. All right, so that is our target is put in. We have loaded that one up onto the pylon. We're also going to turn on our flare pod, because we're going to need that for our other bomb that we're going to do, the penetrator head. And that is us. We are configured. We're ready to taxi and take off, and I'll see you guys in the air as we're en route to drop this JSOW on the targets that we've got up against us. So we'll see you guys up there in a second. Alrighty guys, we have just taken off and we're heading over to our pre-planned area. So again, it's the exact same setup on the HSI for the JDAM as it is for the JSOW. The only difference is the faster and higher we get, the more range we're going to have. So with the JDAM, I think from memory we dropped them at around 20 nautical mile. So we're going to climb up here and get a little bit of altitude and speed on our side, and we're going to help this JSOW in from, see how far out we can get. So bear with me. I'm going to get back with yous when we're up at a decent altitude and a decent amount of airspeed, and we'll see how far out we can actually get this JSOW to glide in from. So see you in a second. Alrighty guys, so it's just extended away here. I'm at Angels 43 pretty much, doing Mach 1.09, about to go through Mach 1.1, and we are currently 79.1 mile from target. We've got a 1 minute 55 time to max range till we can launch out. So you can already see the difference in range here. So the JDAM, we were 20 nautical mile away from target, and with altitude and speed on our side, we are going to be closing in probably around the 50 nautical mile mark. We'll see how long it takes for the time down, or the time to max range. So we're going to go ahead and speed up time a touch here, just to get the speed or the timer almost ready for time to max release or max range. Keep speeding it up here, and here we go. All right, so we are pretty much at 60 nautical mile. We can hit. We'll go ahead and pickle. We've got the in range queue. There's no in zone queue because it can glide. And we're going to go ahead now and just pickle the JDAM. Away she goes. Fins are deploying on it. Right, and that is what it looks like. It just glides on in to the target area. So we're just going to cruise on over. Leave ourselves an autopilot here. Alright, and the SA6 is kind of where we're aiming for. That's where we're going for. So we're just going to leave ourselves in autopilot, and we'll just keep cruising in towards the target area. You can see there is our JSOW. Just descending down here. 630 knots it's cruising in at. And just that stuff off. All right, so we'll just speed up time so that you don't have to wait. So it's pretty much all the way to Kataisi is where it's heading. Just trim out our aircraft here. She's a little bit left wing heavy now. Got rid of that. We're just going to set ourselves up into a bit of a right hand turn here. Beautiful. Doing its thing. So JSOW still cruising in. Speed it up here. So it's heading all the way to Kataisi. Speed up, speed up, speed up. They're still good. There she is there. So we're going to zoom in now. What do we have down here? All right, so there's our target area right there. A little bit hard to see him. They are definitely there. That's what our cluster bomb's going for. Cruising it. Doing a funky chicken now. So these can get shot down by SAM sites, just so you know. So doing a JSOW attack on a SA-15 or something like that, they're going to shoot it down. It won't actually get to the target. So as it gets over the top, it's going to detonate and just deploy all of its cluster munitions. There we go. And then they are coming down. Prepare for impact. See what damage it does. Woohoo! Booyah! And it pretty much killed everything but the SAM site that we're aiming for. So it doesn't really have stopping power against armor. Although, did that just explode? No, it's still going. Secondaries might take it out. So it's more the cluster bomb is more against soft targets. So you can see it took out all of the unarmored vehicles, but the SAM site itself is still operating. You can see the radar still spinning around there. All right, so we are going to we're going to put ourselves, turn our flare pod on. Turn it on. There we go. Adjust the brightness, switch to IR mode. We're going to hook around here and we're going to go ahead and deploy our other JSOW. All right, we're going to be in target of opportunity mode. Defuse instant. Actually, we'll go delay one because we want this to actually hit the bunker. So there's a bunker down there as well, which we're going to find. So you can see the SA-6 radar is still up. Okay, it did not get killed by the JSOW, so things taken into consideration if you're trying to take out an armored SAM site or an armored target. The JSOW cluster bomb is not the go. You probably want to take something with a little bit more bang. All right, but if it's a whole bunch of soft targets, definitely worth your while taking the old JSOW. Alright, so now we're going to use this, the penetrator for a hardened target. We're going to try and take out a bunker. So as we come around here, we're going to slew our targeting pod down into the area. So I'm just using the SA page just as a reference to get roughly in the right spot. Where's our target pod looking? Okay, designate. A bit hard to see through the clouds. It's a little bit better. Alright, so there is the airfield. So we'll just cruise around. So we're well out of the threat range of that SA-6. So I think it's like 30,000 feet it will shoot at us. So we can probably descend down a touch here. Just try and get eyes on the target. It's the clouds being a little bit difficult. So as we come down, we're still outside of the threat ring of the SAM. So it's probably going to start locking us up. So we're just going to put our radar onto, or sorry, countermeasures, electronic countermeasures to transmit. So if it does start locking us up, it's going to make it harder for it to get tracking solution on us to shoot its missiles, but we are outside of the threat envelope of the SA-6. We're just going to ID the target, and then we'll go ahead and do a JSOW run. We'll extend away and then just drop the JSOW. Alright, so we're getting eyes on now. Alright, so our hardened bunker is right there. That is the guy right there we're going to go for. So put him on there. You can also hit the mark point here. So we've got it designated. You can also go mark point number 1. And then that way, if you undesignate, if you go back to mark point 1, which we just did, if you go waypoint designate, it's going to go back to that spot we marked on the ground. So handy little tool. Look at the colors of the sky here. Beautiful. Lovely sunset. Just going to extend away. And we'll drop this bomb. So just make sure he's looking. So you can definitely see it better in black light there. That's our bunker. And if I go to F11 view, you'll see it. That is it there. That's the bunker. And all of its high definition graphics. Alright, so it's flashing in range because we're actually flying away from it. So now if I go back to my HSI page, alright, it's going to give us our min and max range. So we're definitely in range, so we can just go ahead, turn around now. As soon as we get nose on, we can pickle it and it's going to fly in. Fly in and do its work. Just confirm that it is still on the target before we do drop the bomb. And SA-6 is getting angry. And loot and pickle. Let's get the fuck out of here. Put ourselves in autopilot hold here. Watch the bomb cruise in. Alright. So it is currently. Right, you bomb. Yeah. 16,000 feet. It's cruising. Speed up time here. Here she comes. Booyah. And did we kill it? Looks like it. Looks like we killed it. Hard to tell there. That looks destroyed to me though. There we go. So the JSOW took out a bunker penetrator. So that is the two different types, guys, on the JSOW. So you've got the cluster bomb, which is the AGM-54 Alpha, okay, which drops the CBU cluster munitions out. Not very good against armored targets, as you saw there, but against soft targets, definitely worth your while. And then you've got the penetrator, which is good against an armored target or a hardened bunker. It will do some good damage there. So that's the two different types. And the reason why you would take a JSOW over a JDAM is you want the extra range to deploy the bomb, the weapon, from range without putting yourself in harm's way. But the trade-off of having the range is it can be shot down by SA-15 SA-15s mainly are the main ones that'll shoot your stuff down. I'm not sure what the other ones are. There is a few other SAM sites that will actually shoot your missiles and stuff down that are coming in. So the SA-15 will also shoot your harms down as well if they're flying too slow. And yeah, so generally there'll be SA-15s in the SAM network of a target area. So if you see SA-15s and you want to use JSOWs, you've got to get rid of the SA-15s first. Otherwise, they will shoot all of your missiles down and none of them make it through. Anyways, hope you learned something. It's pretty much a JDAM, but glides. All right, so it's very, very similar, if not the exact same setup that you would do for the JDAM as you do for the JSOW. Just one's got further standoff capabilities than the other, and one can be shot down and the other one can't. Alrighty guys, hope you enjoyed it. Hope you learned something. And if you did, make sure you go ahead and hit the like button. Leave any comments or questions or queries in the comments down below. And if you haven't already, appreciate if you hit the subscribe button. It helps the channel out a bunch. We cracked the 3,000 mark, boys. Thank you, and girls. I'm sure there's girls that watch the channel as well. But thank you heaps, guys. Really appreciate everyone that has hit the subscribe button. Absolutely crazy to think that I would even make it to 100 subscribers, let alone 3,000. So thank you guys, making YouTube a fun place for me. Right, catch you on the next one, guys. Peace out.